I know I can depend on my barber to give me the perfect haircut every time. I respect his skill and commitment to his job. He is proudly serving Jamaica with his talent. Respect is also due to my bus conductor. He ensures that I am not left behind and I get on board safely. He is serving Jamaica steadfastly and honestly. It's good to see the police protecting and reassuring with courtesy. She is proudly honoring her pledge to work dutifully in the service of her fellow citizens. My journey through life is unfolding every day. I rely on a lot of people to help me to progress along the way. My family, my friends, and my fellow Jamaicans. With their support, I have a future in which great things are possible. I pledge my heart forever to serve Jamaica, our shining homeland, with pride.
Up Yout is powered by National Baking Company in association with CranWata, a Stanley and Empress Production, giving the youth a voice.
And so we come to know these youths and show these youths. Talk up yourself, the youths to know them roots. Nurture them, protect and love and hear these youths. Music make them know I love we show these youths. Mr. Save the youth, I kill the youth, I talk up youth, I build the youth. I trick and fool and pill the youth, I talk up youth, I build the youth. Empower and then skill the youth, I talk up youth, I build the youth. Talk up youth in Jamaica, we are kill the youths there. Talk up youth in Jamaica.
Hi, my name is Dwight. I'm 24 years old. I'm going to be one of Jamaica's most iconic, influential actors, and this is my story. Growing up, it wasn't easy for me. At the age 6, I lost my house, and this is where I used to live. I remember my worst memory right here is when I was sleeping in a cardboard box, and I was sleeping and some police approached me and they wanted to take me away from my mother. What really inspired me is the day when they wanted to take me away and my mom came and said, "You're not going to take one of my picnic them." And to see my mother stand up for that and fight for us, that was really, really, really wonderful. Growing up for me, was where we lived, sleep, we did everything right here. Swimming in the sea, selling on the beachfront right there, and that was my life growing up. And growing up, my childhood was one of the childhood that nobody would want, but growing up it was really, really, really rough for me. But despite the roughness that I went through, I overcame the obstacles that I faced. So growing up, I faced childhood abuse. That was devastating for me because sex was brought up to me from a very early age. Coming to understand how I was conceived in a cane field where my father forcefully sexed my mother half and my mother got pregnant. The story of me getting birth and my mother, when my mother was pregnant with me, it was really tragic. I know that you were a child that your mother got pregnant with you, but she didn't want you because my mother didn't want to have me when she got pregnant. Knowing that she had a 7-month-old child who didn't have a father support, she didn't have a job, she didn't get to go to school, she can't read and write, so she didn't have a job. But at the end of the day, she did carry me through. While in her pregnancy, she poisoned herself. She was taken to the hospital where they had to flush out her system at 5 months old because what? When my father got her pregnant, 2 weeks after, my mother didn't know. My father was the one who announced to her that she was pregnant. And he was doing it as something like it was something happy. 5 months after, my father steal and he went to jail. So when I was born, I was not born. I didn't see my father. I didn't know my father until the age of 10 years old. And even when I know my father, he still didn't want to be a part of my life. I wonder why. Growing up at 4 months old, I can recall my mother telling me I was very a sickly child because guess what? They took her and they threw her out of the house with me from I was 4 months old by her own family, and I find that really disturbing because I am 4 months old and you're going to throw out a 4 months old, and that's when I developed asthma. I don't know if people know, but them say when they have asthma you have to in and out in a hospital, but I was not in and out. Them cut me on the banana tree, and growing up me see grow out from me. You understand? And knowing that my mother pregnant with me and I tried to kill me, I was not really proud of that. I was not happy to hear that, but at the end of the day, it's really good to know that I'm still alive and God has kept me here. Growing up for me, I remember going to school. There were times when I couldn't go to school. I was somebody. Me not make prayer get me. Anything when me want, me I ask fee. That was me. That was the type of student I was going to school. So going to school, me used to beg $10 and $20 to survive in a high school. In my last year and a half high school, you know, I wanted to be an actor, and I was pursuing my career in acting at Herbert Marcy Technical High School.
Refreshing, that's the promise we make with every bottle of water, Jamaica's own natural water. Quench your thirst with a bucket of water today from all different sizes, small, medium, and large, purified, ozonated, and UV treated for your health and safety.
In my last year of high school, something really bad happened. I was picking some apple and I dropped from a tree, and while I dropped from a tree, I was trying to get up and I realized I couldn't get up, because when I look at my leg, you could just see it's flimping, like you see that something was really wrong. God has saved my life, because the reason why God has saved my life, I could recall dropping, and if I go over like 1 inch, a steel would go straight through me and I would die. And at that, I gave up on my passion for acting. I gave up on my dream, and growing up, I didn't really feel no love from my family, to be honest. I left Montego Bay at age 18 and I went to Kingston to venture off with my life because of my lifestyle. And when my family found out about my life and my sexuality, it was a big issue for me. And when they found out, everybody turned against me. My entire family didn't want to do anything with me. I felt hopeless. I felt like I didn't want to live. I attempted suicide 3 times. And I just gave up on life, because I said, why living? If living and you make a simple mistake, and your own family will forsake you. But at the end of the day, I didn't give up, because God never forsake me. 3 years later, I was being there, and a couple of years later in 2015, I was at a party, because my life, I was just partying, having fun, and just that, I think that was really life, because I didn't understand life. Nobody was there to teach me, to help me to understand, or to make me know what was life all about. So growing up for me, I had to understand life for myself. It was last year, in 2015, I was there and I went to a party. I didn't feel well. And I was sitting and I heard a spirit came to me, and it like was talking to me, and it said, look at this careless life you're living. You don't even care about your health. Because when I break my leg, I didn't do any therapy. I came off the clinic. I didn't do anything at all, but I healed by the grace of God. And after there, 3 years later, I realized that spirit, I felt different. And that's when I decided I would actually listen to what that spirit was telling me. And I started to do a re-evaluation on my life, because I realized I was seeing the same result each and every time in life, and I wanted a change. So I made that change. In 2015, I started my journey with God with an interpersonal relationship. That is when I started to have the most closest possible interpersonal relationship with God. When I realized how I was living life, and I realized living life wasn't right, and I started my journey with God. And living with God for 2015 to 2018 is one of the best feeling ever, because trust me, my life has changed drastically. And trust me, last year something really bad happened to me, and that's what gave me my wake-up call when I went to jail last year, 2017. And when it happened, it was really a devastating situation, because I was not prepared mentally for this situation. But I think God has prepared me physically, because I was home doing my home study, learning my Bible. And I recall I went to a church in Spanish Town, I will not forget. And I was in the church, the pastor was preaching, and I was crying, and my heart was crying out. I realized it was not me who was crying out, it was my heart, because I tried to contain the tears, but it was not. And that's when I went to the altar, and I could recall going to the altar and crying out and said, Jesus, save me. I was crying, said, God, save me. And he did.
We have to build the youths there. Up Yout in Jamaica.
There is no other bun like this one. The flavor is so good. Who say bun can't sweet? Oops, mind you bite your finger.
National spiced buns, baked with national pride.
My wow moment.
My wow moment.
My wow moment.
CranWata with wow.
That's my wow. That's my wow. Yeah. What we do? Watch out.
My wow moment when I get the highest in my class. That's my wow. What's with wow?
When we get 16 at maths, I never expect so much. That's my wow.
CranWata with wow. When school over, I'ma get forgot me out. That's my wow.
Water with wow.
I'ma get my box food. That's my wow. CranWata with wow.
what's up? How are you? And you know, I just want to tell you guys that never you give up, no matter as well, I'm a family member, and this is what something that I had to do to survive. And I just want you guys to look at the experience of my life right now, what is really going on, and showing you that don't you give up, because this is what made me. Because if this was not something that was a part of my life, this is something that made me to who I am today. So this, I remember I was a little boy on the stoplight saying like, you too, and look at me now, I'm in a better position. So I just want you to take this as a life lesson, and to know that never you give up on your dream, just keep believing in yourself. And don't you give up. People are going to always say things, but people will say, but you don't watch that. At the end of the day, it's what God says, it's not what man says. People are going to keep on talking. Know that if you do good or bad, people are going to talk. So don't feel ashamed of what you're doing. You understand? Don't feel ashamed because you are selling Guinea and people will soon up and stuff like that. Just know it's for your beneficial reason. At the end of the day, it's going to make you better in life. You understand? So I only doing in school now. And yeah, keep on, because at the end of the day, you know, say once you graduate, you don't forget a good education, because without education, I mean, no want to do this serious on the life, because I never want to do this serious in my life, and you guys are really my motivation, and that's why me choose to be a part and everything, and you guys, I just want it to be better for we, you understand? So never you give up, just keep on fighting and just keep striving for better, yeah? And just do what you have to do. Thank you. I love you guys. Thanks. Thank you so much. Growing up, I was always a God-fearing person, and despite my challenges, my life that I have lived, and people would belittle me and tell me that God hates me, God does not like me based on my life. But you understand, learning God for yourself, you would know God. And even though I was doing all the bad things of this world, like with the energy that I was in, I still put God first. I was still praying to God. Even though I was knowing that I was a sinner, I was still putting God first, because each and every day when I wake up, I would like to say, thank you, Lord, for waking me up, even though I know what I was going to do. How I came across God is, as I stated, is my mother used to take me to church at a young age. And based off my mother's life challenges, all the things that she has faced, and I remember I had to always be praying for my mother. Anytime my mother was sick, I would be the one to be praying for her, because my bigger brother and my little sister, they don't really understand. I'm more like the spiritual person in my family. So that's how I know God. In 2015, that's when I started to have the more close interpersonal relationship with him. When I was in a car sitting down and I hear something came talking to me and said, I don't even care about my health. Last year, I was preparing to go to Hollywood and I didn't get the opportunity. I was changing my life, and that was the moment I said, okay, then this opportunity came. I auditioned, I got through. I was supposed to go to Hollywood, but the morning when I was going to do the embassy application, that's the day when I went to jail on February 1st, 2017. I spent 2 months behind bars. I came out. When I came out, I thought my friends and my family would be there for me, but they all vanished. I describe my life in the Bible as Job, who lost everything. That was my life last year. When I went to jail, I lost everything. Right now, I'm still going through the situation, but I'm just having faith and just having a strong relationship with God, because it's not easy. I am being tormented with this situation. I can't sleep at night. I have depression problems. I tell people each and every day, it's that God's mercy that is keeping me alive. If I did not have God, I would see myself be underhurt, because sometimes this situation just let me want to kill my life, to kill myself, and said, Jesus, why are this happening to me? So sometimes I just feel like I just want to kill myself so they won't have nothing to judge. This situation has hurt me in a way where it feels like it's made me lose my mind. But I stand up strong because of the word of God, and because God see what was going to happen to me. He has prepared me for this journey, and I'm here standing in faith, telling the world, never you give up on God, because God is not going to give up on you. We have to learn Him, have that interpersonal relationship. Let Him teach you, because that's what He did for me. What I'll actually say to young youths that are going through abuse, any little thing, any trauma, depression, hurt, you feel like you're fatherless, you feel like you have nobody. Let me tell you something. You have somebody. You have God. Because before even God conceived you and put you out here, He knows you by your name. So everything that you do, He allows it to let you happen so you can learn from it. I understand you're going to see your situation bad now, but at the end of the day, don't you ever give up. Never you stop believing in yourself. Never you give up. Because if I gave up, I wouldn't be here right now standing here. And if I didn't believe in myself, I wouldn't be here. People are going to tell you something in life. You don't listen to people. That's people's opinion against you. What matters is what God says, it's not what man says. People are always going to pass their judgment towards your life, but listen, live. People are going to tell you that you cannot make it and you cannot do that. Don't listen to what people have to say. Use that as a rising expectation for them. Use that as a stepping stone. You're just like I say, I want stone and throw in front of me, I'm a step on you, I'm going to step on you, I'm going to crush it. And you use that. Use what people say to you and let them show them, say, listen, it's not what you say, it's what God say. Just learn your book, put your get a good education, because without education, even though in life we say yes, God recreates us, we know that we need the education. But some people, them are different. Everybody has different learning style. My learning style is really different from you. You learn different, I learn different, everybody learn different. You understand? So just put God first, keep believing yourself, have that interpersonal relationship with God, know God, because He loves you and He wants to give you the best life possible. And God has shown me that, and He has proven it. And with my name, it shows me that any bad situation you're going through, don't look on the bad situation now. Just have faith, have that interpersonal relationship. Faith can move mountain, and God are going to do the things so you can have faith. Sometimes you probably not expect, say, when you pray, it's going to happen tomorrow night. Prayer do come true even 3 years after, and I have learned that, prove that. So just put God first, believe in yourself, and always live with love. Love covers a multitude.
Wait! Take a bite of National Giant Hardo. Nothing comes close. How do you Hardo? Bread and patty? Bread and butter?
National Giant Hardo bread, baked with national pride.
When you're ready.
Ready? Oh, wait, my time to fall off.
Ready now?
Come and get new bundles and makeup now. That's my wow. Water with wow.
Just get that song, pull up, yes. That's my wow. Water with wow. Front one there, water with wow. So we are me when we reach a foreign.
I want to play and touchdown in New York. That's my wow. Water with wow.
We have to kill the youths there. Up Yout in Jamaica.
General, yes, sir.
My name is Dwight, I'm 24 years old. I was born and raised in rural Jamaica, in the parish of St. James. Growing up for me, I really love acting.
Yeah.
Growing up from a tender age, my mom would tell me how I was fascinated about the commercial that would come on TV. I was always happy. So growing up for me, acting was something that I was passionate about. I really love acting because guess what? Acting to me is like an everyday life for me, because when you get up, I just tell myself, if I find myself, I have different personalities. So I'd say acting for me is really an everyday life thing for me. However, my question that I really wanted to ask you is, what do you do? What are the odds that you come to surpass those levels What were your biggest failure and what did you do to resolve the situation to know that there was hope into your career?
Yeah, well, I thank you for even inviting me to share with you, because I listening to you and already I have so many similar experiences growing up, because I grew up in Trenchtown in Rima, seeing the loss of 8 boys and go through similar challenges. I never even think that I could have even be on TV, but like you, I had a passion for acting and personalities. I used to play different characters, interview myself as somebody else. I become the interviewer and the interviewee. So I listened to you and said, well, there are so many similarities there. But you know, I never know my father. I met my father when I was 22, for the first time in my life. So I grew up without him, you know. So it was one of those experiences for me. So similarly, I had similar challenges. Poverty, you know, you grow a man, but me not rich. You know what about it? You know what I mean? About the rich in the area, you know. So it's challenging to go to school and to make it through. But, you know, I have a dream. My mother was very serious about education. So she run out of money, we ball and go to school without no money, but we go. That was useful for me. So the fact is that you and I are connecting now. You say like acting, you have a passion for it, I can see it, you hear your voice and things. I am about to enter some production that who knows that we might be meeting on this and talk up Youth here in the season, but the truth is that I might have work for both of us to work, because I have a need to work with new talents, new faces. And as far as I'm concerned, you fit that bill completely. Now, challenges for me were many, like you mentioned. I mean, and I overcome them. I don't even know, but the point is, we're all fitted with choices. And there's a scripture I remember, and if you want to remember, it's 2:4:8. It's Corinthians 2:4:8. 2 Corinthians 4:8. It says, we have been crushed but not destroyed. Crushed, like you know, like crushed but not destroyed. I mean, perplexed, but not in despair. And I think that scripture really reminds that you go through some struggles, but you can triumph over them once you connect to the source from whence you came. And you and I have connected to that source, which is God Almighty. And when you connect to the source, you allow Him to lead you into all things. So therefore, you are already at a point where you have overcome many challenges. I got some background information, you share some with me, with your father and your mother and things. But where you are right now, you're positioned for great success. When you look at this interview, you're going to remember, that was the time I did the interview and things, but now you're on bigger platforms, international platforms. You have to speed over your life, you know?
You know, I've seen your show being going successful. And I understand that you says that the creator, we are connected to him and he's the source of everything. But I know that he knows things and we do things.
That is true.
And if we want to be successful, the change has to come within us.
Yes.
So, going this successful, what is the remedy to keep being this successful, to keep going?
Well, the thing is, you mentioned the creator. I never know him like this, have a relationship with him before. And for most of the seasons, I'm off at the first 8 seasons, I wasn't plugged in. It's the last 2 I really plug into the creator. But when I plug in, my eyes were opened and I recognized in a different way that it must be him, because there are so many talents in the country. This country is filled with exceptional talent. So for you to get opportunity to really triumph over challenges, you know, I grew up in the ghetto and thing, and to be on TV and to succeed on TV, for me personally, it have to be a higher power, a guide. So therefore, once I recognize that, I give him all the glory and I try in this life to just recognize that I can't do nothing without him. And success will come, you gotta track success. Remember, I speak it over your life. Remember, anything you want, it happens twice. First in your thoughts and in reality. And words sound very powerful. Even the word I got played for life, and that is in the power of the tongue. So therefore, you get every morning and you start embrace it. As a practice, I am Dwight, I am talented, I am successful. I will make it in my field, my passion. I know God is with me every day. You see, after a while, it does become like a pattern, like a song, there is, and then your seeds are manifest. Remember, you attract those things, you speak them. So you have to recognize that power in your words, and then you start practicing and trust me. And my experience, I'm sitting in front of your experience, and I tell you, it's going to be yours too. It's going to be yours too, definitely. And you're going to influence and encourage more people in your family, and your friends, and your circle, your past circle, and your new circles that you are creating even now.
So I just want to say thank you so much, and like listen to exactly what you're saying. Like when I tell myself that I see myself going where I said God is bringing me these places, God is training me, He's equipping me. And listening to what you're saying, that really like I can relate to it, because if I didn't believe in myself, because of what people say, I wouldn't be here today.
True.
And I know that God is a good thing, and this is why I tell each and every day, learning life for myself, I acknowledge that God is real and that He's a powerful God.
CranWata. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Time and the opportunity to see you and to listen to what you were saying. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I'm humbled by the opportunity to share with you, and I think that this is the beginning for more things and greater things. You know what I mean? It's a crossroad that we meet on this platform, Talk Up Youth, and I'm sure that even after this, you know, there are projects I'm working on that we can link and work. Look at yourself. Enough love, yes, sir?
God bless it.
God bless it.
When you live your life, please yourself, make yourself happy. Don't care about what no one want to do or what they want to say about you. It doesn't matter. Their opinion doesn't count. At the end of the day, no man can judge you. And so live your life, please yourself, and be happy within yourself, and do what makes you happy, and live your life to the fullest.
I'll tell the world that there are endless possibilities out there, and if you feel like you want to give up, don't you ever give up, because in life we have to go through things, and if we don't go through struggles, we're not going to understand what this life is about. So I just leave God now to do my work, and I know with God there is endless possibilities. You can do anything through Jesus Christ who strengthens you, and God is the creator of the universe and above all things, and with Him we are everything.
Talk Up Youth is powered by National Baking Company in association with CranWata, a Stanley and Empress Production, giving the youth a voice.